Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching this, then you are following along on our IVF journey. I'm Christina. We've went through several IUIs and medicated cycles, and now we have decided that it's time for us to move on to IVF. And so a lot of the questions I get are usually about cost. So I thought I'd do a little breakdown video for you. I've had two opinions from two different clinics, and we actually are both fairly similar in price, but I wanted to talk to you about the clinic we decided to finally go with, which is the one in Cincinnati, which is a little bit farther away and not my original doctor, but I feel really good about this decision. I think he's wonderful, and I think we'll have some really good success there. But again, this is our situation, this clinic, so it might not be exactly the same for you, but it'll be a good guideline for you and kind of an idea. And so let's get started. So they sent us a projected cost sheet just to kind of give us a ballpark idea. It might not be exactly this, but it's in general pretty much what it would be. So it's really nice. I have a lot of notes all over mine, but they actually break it down by each thing you would need for IVF, which is pretty awesome. From office visits to ultrasound checks to the IV when you have your retrieval, to the actual retrieval, to the different blood draws you have to have beforehand. It does all of it. It breaks it all down. So let's start off. So it does, like I said, it did office visits, ultrasound and follicle scans, which it says you usually get 4 per cycle, as well as 4 office visits. Blood draws, you usually get 6. Then it's the blood tests, you get 4. Another blood test for estradiol, you get 4, your IV fluids, your sedation, the retrieval, another ultrasound, the sperm washing, the insemination, the embryo culture, the transfer physician fees, the embryo transfer lab fees, the observation, pre and post-op, and the observation of post-embryo transfer. So it's a pretty big list, but I like that they break it down so well. So it's total without medication. Are you ready for this? $17,950. And that's with insurance. So what I always thought was interesting to me, and I don't know if this is just how this office works, but you actually pay more if you use insurance. So you kind of need to decide if you do have any fertility coverage, which would be great. If you do have any of that coverage, you need to make sure that you aren't going to be paying more than you would for a self-pay package. So the total cost, like I said, was $17,950. But if you self-pay, you get a discount. And so if you self-pay for all of these items, you will pay $8,200, which is a huge difference than using insurance. So if you have insurance coverage for maybe 50%, you really need to go in and decide, okay, it's only going to cover 50%, and we're responsible for the other 50%, then maybe self-pay is just a better option for you. So I find it very interesting that they can do that. It's crazy to me that by using your insurance, it's so much more money. But if you can self-pay, that's awesome too. And then it also gives some things that are not included within that package. So there are things like the ICSI, which is where they actually put the sperm into the egg for you. And so something along those lines, if you do not use your insurance and your self-pay, it's $1,100. If you use insurance, it's $5,300. And then some insurances might not even cover this at all. It's completely based on the criteria if you fit within a certain area. For us, our instances, we don't have any male factor issues, so they will not cover this. This is something we'd have to pay out of pocket if it's something we want to do. And then something along like assisted hatching. This is where after they become embryos, they kind of put a little hole on the side of the embryo, and it's supposed to help attach to the lining once it's transferred, and it's supposed to help with implantation. So if you pay With insurance, it's $2,300. If you pay out of pocket, it's $600. Again, huge difference. And a lot of insurances won't cover this piece of IVF because it's not considered necessary, medically necessary, so you just have to double check with your insurance. And then things like embryo cryopreservation, so when they freeze the embryos, if that's something you can do or choose to do, it's a flat fee of $800. And then embryo storage, which is something that if you get several eggs or embryos, you can pay the storage fee and hold on to them for a few years when maybe if your first one worked, you can wait a couple years to have your second one. And that's a flat $400 at our doctor's office. So overall, it adds up. So it's just one of those things that you really have to think about, plan for. It's very stressful. I will tell you, because like I said, I'm completely honest with you guys on this channel. I think that the financial piece of infertility has definitely been the hardest thing for my marriage. It's something that it's very draining and something that should come so easily, and it does for so many other people. It's really hard to know that you're gonna have to pay $20,000 or more to have a child when a lot of other people can just have children. And I think that's something that my husband and I struggle with sometimes, that we have to go through all these extra hoops. But I know in the end it's going to be completely worth every penny, every step we've taken. It's going to be worth it when it works. But it is hard, and if you can save for it and you can have a little extra money to put towards it, I highly recommend they have a lot of options where you can go and get a loan for IVF, which is wonderful that they have those options, but it also causes some stress as well because payments are pretty high, interest rates can be high. And so it can become stressful, and you're already going to be stressed because of the procedure. And I know I'm very impatient, and right away I was like, I just want to finance this, I just want to get it done. But looking at it and, backing away from the emotional ties of it, I'm realizing that I would rather be more financially stable than have to borrow. And so thank goodness my insurance is covering a huge majority of this, and I'll do another video to talk about that just to see exactly what it's going to cover. But I feel a lot better about that because this is kind of just a crazy amount, and that's not even including your medication. And your medication can be very expensive too, probably like $4,000, $5,000. I'll have a much better idea once we get all the medication ordered, but it's definitely not cheap. So that's just a regular IVF cycle. But I also have a breakdown if you want to do PGS testing. So PGS testing is great. It's like a genetic screening. And what it does is it will take the embryos that you get at the end of it, and it will they'll take a little bit of a biopsy from each embryo, and then they'll ship it off, and they'll look at different things like chromosomal abnormalities, or just different things that might not make the embryo normal, so it'd be considered abnormal. A lot of people get this if they've had a lot of miscarriages, or for some reason they've went through this process several times and still have not gotten pregnant. Another thing that it also can tell you is it can tell you the gender. So some people use it too for gender selection. So if they have maybe 5 girls at home and they really want a boy, they could use IVF and PGS testing for that reason. In our case, our doctor didn't think that it's something that we necessarily need to do at this time because I've never been pregnant. I've never had a miscarriage. So we're not sure that that's even the issue. And due to our age and just the situation we're in, he doesn't think that it's necessary. But for a lot of people it is. And so I wanted to give you kind of a breakdown for that. So an overall IVF cycle with PGS testing, because when you get PGS tested, you have to freeze all the embryos because they have to test them and then they have to send them away, and it takes a couple weeks usually. to get the results back. So you would have to do a frozen transfer with PGS testing. So the whole thing with the freezing your embryos, the frozen transfer, and the whole IVF process that you go through anyways, even in a normal IVF, the total cost is $22,150. So it's a bit more. So just the PGS testing alone is about $7,500. And that's with insurance. And some insurances will cover it, not all. And then out of pocket, it's $4,000 if you pay for it yourself. So again, a lot of money. It's kind of crazy to me. If you add in the ICSI and then the biopsies and everything, then it comes out to be a total of $26,750. But if you self-pay, so you don't use your insurance, $15,900. So again, a substantial amount of money. And that's again not including your medication. So IVF is definitely not cheap. It's not easy, but it's sometimes the route you got to take to reach your dreams. And so that's kind of where we are right now, and that's kind of what we're doing. But again, it's a lot of money. But thank goodness we have some awesome insurance that's going to be covering a huge portion. And again, I'll do another video to let you know exactly what we're getting covered and what we're paying out of pocket, just to let you guys know. And so when you guys maybe go through it or know somebody that goes through it, you can kind of understand or know what you're going to get into. And I think that's so important. I had no idea what went into fertility, infertility, and all the stuff that goes along with it until now. And I'm learning as I go, and I'm watching other vloggers, and I've learned so much that I feel like I'm kind of becoming a pro at this. And so I hope that this channel is really helpful for some people and can kind of give them information that they might not get, or they're unsure of, and they're just not quite at that step yet of IVF, but they're wanting to prepare themselves just in case. I was one of those, and now I'm here. So I just wanted to kind of give you a breakdown of all the costs, but we go for our education appointment tomorrow. I'm super excited. We will talk to our IVF nurse. We will get my calendar, and it'll be official. It will be officially in the books, ready to go, and I'm so excited / nervous, but I can't wait to see what our future holds. I really hope this works. And if it doesn't work the first time, maybe we'll have to try again. But I'm gonna be positive about the whole situation, and I'm just gonna think for the very best, and we're gonna say it's gonna work. So just keep watching my videos. I'm gonna have a lot more. I'm gonna try to videotape at the education appointment. We'll see if they let me. But if not, I'll give you a whole rundown of exactly what happened, what we do, what we talk about. Because like I said, it's always good to be prepared if you're going through these situations too. So if you need anything, let me know. Ask me any questions. And thank you again. If you really like this video and want to keep following along, push that subscribe button. Thank you.